Long ago, the moon broke. Nobody knew how, nobody knew why. Giant fragments now hung in the sky like broken pieces of a giant puzzle. They glimmered faintly, a sad reminder of the brilliant light that was lost. Whispers traveled on the wind, stories of creeping shadows, tales of creatures made of darkness. They were just stories, people said, just scary stories. But sometimes when the wind blew just right, you could almost hear the shadows whispering back. Lena wasn't afraid of the dark. She loved staring out her window at the broken moon. She dreamed of adventures, of faraway lands and magical creatures. She wasn't like the other kids in her village. They were content with their chores and routines. Lena's head was always in the clouds, her pockets full of smooth moonstones she found by the river. "Lena," her mother would scold, "you need to keep your head out of the stars and your feet on the ground." But Lena couldn't help it. She was drawn to the mystery of the broken moon, the whispers of a forgotten magic. One night, everything changed. The shadows weren't whispers anymore. They poured from the forest, dark and menacing, hungry for the light of the remaining moon shards. The villagers panicked. They had heard the stories, but nobody believed they were true. Now the stories were coming to life, and fear gripped their hearts. Lena tripped, her hand scraping against a sharp rock. Suddenly, a light, warm and golden, bloomed from her palm. It pushed back the shadows, holding them at bay. Lena had a power, a light within her, and in that moment of terror she knew she had to use it. Section 4. The Journey to Whispering Falls. An old storyteller, his eyes filled with a knowing sadness, told Lena of the last moonshard. His voice, though frail, carried the weight of countless tales and ancient wisdom. He spoke of a time when the moon was whole and the world bathed in its gentle light. It lay hidden at Whispering Falls, a place shrouded in ancient magic. The falls were said to sing songs of old, whispering secrets to those who dared to listen. The air around it was thick with enchantment, and the waters sparkled with an otherworldly glow. He spoke of a prophecy of a girl with starlight in her veins who could reignite the moon and banish the shadows forever. This girl, destined to bring light back to the world, was none other than Lena. The stars themselves seemed to watch over her, guiding her path. Lena, armed with her newfound light and a heart full of hope, embarked on a perilous journey. She carried with her the weight of the prophecy and the hopes of all who believed in the return of the moon's light. Her determination was unwavering, her spirit unbreakable. She traveled through dark forests and treacherous mountains, the old storyteller as her guide. The path was fraught with danger, but Lena's resolve never wavered. Each step brought her closer to Whispering Falls and the destiny that awaited her. They faced dangers and overcame obstacles, their will strengthened by the importance of their quest. Together, they braved the wilderness, their bond growing stronger with each challenge. The journey was long and arduous, but the promise of a brighter future kept them moving forward. Section 5. Reigniting the Moon Shard. The path to Whispering Falls was steep and treacherous. Each step was a challenge, with loose rocks and sudden drops that could send an unwary traveler tumbling. The air grew thinner as Lena ascended, making each breath a laborious task. But Lena, fueled by her purpose, climbed with a determination that belied her small frame. Her eyes were set on the summit, her mind focused on the mission at hand. She had come too far to turn back now. The roar of the waterfall echoed through the cavern, a deafening symphony of water and stone. The sound was almost overwhelming, but it also signaled that she was close to her goal. The powerful cascade was both a barrier and a guide. And there it was, nestled in the heart of the falls. The last moon shard, its light faint but pulsing with a hidden power. The shard seemed to call out to her, its glow a beacon in the dark, damp cavern. Lena reached out, her hand trembling with a mixture of fear and excitement. She could feel the energy emanating from the shard, a tangible force that made her heart race. This was the moment she'd been preparing for. As her fingers brushed against its surface, a surge of energy pulsed through her. It was as if the shard recognized her touch, responding to her presence with a powerful, almost sentient force. The light from her hand flowed into the shard, filling it with a brilliant, blinding luminescence. The once faint glow now radiated with an intensity that lit up the entire cavern. The cavern bathed in its glow, pushing back the ever-present shadows that clung to the edges of the light. The darkness that had once seemed so impenetrable was now retreating, vanquished by the shard's renewed brilliance. Section 6. The Return of the Light and a Lingering Shadow. Lena returned to her village a hero. The villagers, who had once been shrouded in fear and uncertainty, now greeted her with open arms and joyous hearts. They celebrated her bravery and the light she had brought back to their lives. The moon shards in the sky, revitalized by the reignited fragment, glowed with a renewed brilliance. Each shard seemed to tell a story of hope and resilience, casting a gentle, reassuring light over the land. The shadows had retreated, banished back to the darkness from whence they came. The once ominous clouds that loomed over the village had dispersed, revealing a clear, star-studded sky. Hope, once a flickering candle in the wind, now burned brightly in the hearts of the villagers. They gathered around bonfires, sharing stories and laughter, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of lanterns. But as Lena stared up at the night sky, she noticed something strange. Amidst the celebration, a sense of unease crept into her heart. One of the moon shards, larger than the others, pulsed with a light just a little bit brighter, a little bit whiter than the rest. It stood out, almost as if it was trying to communicate something. And in its depths she could almost make out a shape, a swirling vortex of light that seemed to beckon her closer. It was mesmerizing, yet unsettling, as if it held secrets yet to be uncovered. The shadows may be gone for now, but something told Lena that her adventure was far from over. The light had returned, but with it came a lingering shadow, a mystery that awaited her discovery.